Hello, it's Kathy Cassidy and I'm here to read you another chapter from Love from Lexie. And just before I do that, I wanted to give a little shout out to some of the people I know are listening and watching along, and I really appreciate all of you because it feels so crazy kind of just talking to a camera when you're all on your own. But anyway, special hello to Catherine and Hannah, who I met at Hay Festival a couple of years ago, to Victoria and Honor. I think Honor had a birthday on Monday and sent me a fantastic picture of her birthday cake, which was Sweet Honor by Kathy Cassidy. It was all made by her mum in to look just like a Kathy Cassidy book, and it was just the coolest cake ever. Also to Boo and Francis and Mary Esther in Galway, to Melanie and to fantastic Marilyn and Heloise in France, Amanda and Sheila, and to Sophie in Scotland. And there'll be more shout outs. If you want a little mention, all you have to do is just leave a message on the YouTube or on the Facebook shares, and hopefully I will see it and be able to say hi. So here we go. It's going to be chapter 14, but before we get to that, there is of course the filler, and it's a letter, as often is, and this time the letter is to the men in suits again from Lexie, and it says, "Dear men in suits, I know a lot more now about what you were up to at Bridge Street Library yesterday, and I'm gutted you're going to close it. You might not know this, but Bridge Street has the best figures for general footfall, books lent and community groups. It would be wrong to close it. Our band will have nowhere to practice, and our book club will have nowhere to meet, and the over 65s bingo and the knit and natter and the art club and all the other groups will have to stop. I am writing this under the desk in science, so I will keep it short, but I wanted to say I don't think you have thought about this at all. Please keep Bridge Street Library open. Love from Lexie." So Lexie is really upset, as you can see, that the local library is about to close. And then we get to chapter 14, and it's called A Date. So, from the far corner of the science lab on the 3rd floor at school, you can see the park. It's just a tiny patch of distant green, glimpsed beyond the rooftops, but still, it's the park, and I look out longingly now because the sun is shining and it reminds me so much of days gone by. We always made the most of the sunshine, Mum and I. We'd pack a basket with jam butties and orange squash and apples and head to the park. It had been a bus ride away when we lived on the Skylark estate, but that just made it more of an adventure. We'd walk down from the bus stop and run across the grass laughing, spread our picnic shawl out beside the old bandstand. From there you could see a big, beautiful Victorian mansion called Greystones. Imagine living there, Mum would say wistfully. This park we're sitting in was once part of their private grounds, but they still have plenty of garden left hidden away behind the fence. It's a funny place, just one old lady living alone and a load of hippy-dippy hangers-on. Shall we move in, Lexie? What do you think? We could be princesses, I said, because Greystones looked to me like a real live fairy tale castle. Well, you're my princess always, Mum had laughed and hugged me close. Lexie, you're dreaming. Happy's voice cuts across my thoughts. That's the last bell. Come on. We pick up our bags and head for the door. Jake, who's in the same science class, falls into step with us, and Bex is waiting for us in the corridor. Want to hang out in the park for a bit, she says. It's actually sunny for a change, and we can grab ice creams if the van is in the park. You too, Jake, if you want. Well, okay, why not? Minutes later, the 4 of us are walking towards the school gates. The buses are pulling away and most people have gone, but I spot Marley sitting on the wall, a guitar strung nonchalantly over one shoulder. I think about asking him along to the park too, then change my mind abruptly. All right, guys, he says, jumping up and wandering over. Afraid I'm going to have to steal Lexie off you for a bit. Thought we'd hang out at the Leaping Llama, yeah? Go over some band stuff. I'm speechless. Where does this boy get off? He's too sure of himself by half, just jumping in, assuming that I'll come with him without even asking me. To my shame, I'm torn between wanting to drop everything to go with him and irritation at his cheek. Happy and Jake look embarrassed and awkward, but Bex just curls her lip, scathing. So, Lexie, gonna let yourself be stolen, she taunts, and that just tips the scales. No, I say, firmly and clearly. No, I'm not. Sorry, Marley, if you want to meet up, it will have to be another day, another time. You could try asking me and then I can check to see if I'm free. That's usually how it works. I'm sorry, but I've got plans right now. His face falls and I wonder for a moment if I've blown it. Will he ditch my dodgy songwriting skills and ask Sasha or Samir to work with him instead? Will he ditch me, full stop? Switch his flirty attention to someone new? I feel better for speaking out, even so. I am not a doormat. I get to decide what I will or won't do in this life and nobody else. And no matter how cute Marley Hayes might be, he does not get to boss me around. Is this because I'm not on board with your stupid library thing, he's asking. Come on, Lexie, the band comes first, that's all. Does it, I challenge. Can you play guitar okay with skinned knuckles then? Lucky it wasn't anything worse, like broken fingers. Did the band come first when you decided to get into another fight? It was nothing, Marley growls, just some chancer throwing his weight around. Sure, I say with a sigh, same as last time. Look, Marley, I've got to go. I'll call you then, he says, slightly sulky. Arrange something, maybe. Yeah, you do that. Ooh, burn, Bex says under her breath, but not so quietly that Marley can't hear. Right, guys, let's go. See you around, Marley. Lexie, don't be like this, he cuts in, catching my arm as I start to head after the others. Let's not fall out. What's the big deal? I'm sorry if I came over a bit too sure of myself, maybe. Bossy. I didn't think. Story of my life. But I didn't mean to be rude. You know that, right? I guess, I whisper. Marley, I can't talk now. When can you talk then, he presses. Tomorrow? We could do something then. Saturday afternoon? I want to say yes. I want to say yes badly, even though this boy is almost certainly not the boy I think he is, the boy I want him to be. He's a mess, battered and bruised with a side order of rude and selfish, but I like him anyway. My traitorous heart can't quite help it. The problem is that Saturday afternoons are when I hang out with Bex and Happy. If I ditch them for Marley, I will never hear the last of it. I can't, I tell him. Sorry, Marley, I have plans already. He rakes a hand through his fringe and his blue eyes blaze at me. What exactly do I have to do to get a date with you, Lexie Lawler, he huffs. Sunday then? Can I see you on Sunday? My heart is racing. A date? I can't work out if I'm happy or sad or just plain terrified. My feelings are all churned up, a tangle of anxiety and anger. Until a week ago, I barely knew Marley Hayes. I am beginning to wonder if things were better that way. Sunday, Lexie, he repeats. Please? Come on, Lexie, Bex is yelling from along the street. Hurry up. That girl is bugging me, Marley says. She's just looking out for me, I tell him. Yes, maybe Sunday, that would be cool. Maybe Sunday, he echoes. Lexie, you are breaking my heart. Definitely Sunday, okay? 4 o'clock outside the Leaping Llama. I'll see you then. I pull away from him and run after the others, and Marley calls after to say he'll see me soon, that he will be thinking about me. I think I have a date, I say under my breath as I catch up with Happy, Bex and Jake. A date? How did that happen? Cupid's arrow, Happy says, nudging me gently as we walk. You did the right thing, calling him out, not letting him change your plans. He's a good-looking boy, but he's too used to having things his own way. Don't let him take you for granted. I won't, I promise. He has a bad rep with girls, Jake chips in. You probably know that, right? He's dated dozens of girls and dumped them all, Bex reminds me. Plus, he is always fighting. It's like a death wish. Today he got beaten up by one of the sixth formers. Guy reckoned Marley had been flirting with his girlfriend. He's trouble, Lexie, just saying. Flirting with a sixth former's girlfriend? My heart sinks and my cheeks burn with shame. Does he like me, or is this all some kind of game to Marley? I can't work it out at all. I know, I say miserably. Look, it's probably not an actual date. He'll just want to talk to me about the band and stuff like last time. I'm not interested in him that way, honest. I am interested in him that way, sadly. I just can't help myself. Whatever you say, Bex says, exasperated. Happy just links an arm through mine and we head into the park. 10 minutes later, we're eating ice cream cones by the lake, watching a family of swans drift about on the mirror-still water. Talk turns to the library crisis again, and this time I'm glad of the distraction. We can't let them win, Jake is saying. I'll write a letter like you said and get my mum and sisters to do one too. I'm making a Twitter account right now, Happy says, glancing up from her phone. I can sort an Instagram and a Facebook page too when I come over tomorrow. Should we plan a protest, I wonder, occupy the library and refuse to move? Chain ourselves to the railings? How do these things work? I'll find out, Bex says. We need to contact the Milford Gazette and the radio and get the whole town talking about this. Happy frowns. The thing is, we all use the library, but not everybody does. A lot of people are like Marley and Dylan. They just don't get why it's such a big deal. The petitions have got everyone talking at school, but it's not all pro-library. Some people think libraries are old-fashioned, that we don't need them because we have e-readers and the internet. Idiots, Bex snaps. Maybe, Jake argues, but we do have to convince people, don't we? Labelling them idiots might not be the best way to do it. Okay, Bex says, point taken. We've got to show them that libraries matter. Yes, I say, if we could actually get people into the libraries and let them see for themselves, we could go into primary schools and talk to the kids, get their teachers to bring them along to listen to a story and get a library card. Yes, good one, Happy agrees. And if our protest was a really cool event and not just chaining ourselves to railings, well, that could pull people in and change their minds, change the council's mind even. We all love this idea, although we're not quite sure how to make it work. Doesn't matter for now. We have the bones of a plan and the rest will fall into place. Bex tries approaching passers-by for signatures on the petition, but walking up to total strangers is not as easy as getting the kids at school to sign. And especially when they're signing a dog-eared exercise book and not an official petition. A mum with 2 small children adds her name, and so do an elderly couple, but most people blank Bex, and one old lady shrieks as if she's trying to steal her handbag. I guess being accosted by a turquoise-haired teen with a pierced nose might be quite alarming if you don't actually know Bex. Possibly even if you do. We need flyers, Jake says, and printed petitions on a clipboard. We need to get people interested because Happy's right, not everyone cares. Not everyone's into books, I say, but libraries are about much more than that. Like for us with our band practice, I've been trying all day to think of somewhere we can practice for free and not get on anyone's nerves, but I can't. It needs to be big enough, so it can't just be a kitchen or a garden shed, and church halls and studio spaces would charge us. This might sink the Lost and Found before we've even got started. Jake grins. About that, I might know somewhere that could work. I wasn't going to say anything because I haven't sounded it out yet, but we could take a look tomorrow. What do you think? I blink. That sounds fantastic, sure. Where is it, Bex wants to know. It's in the garden of the place where I live, Jake says. Greystones. Big Gothic-looking house on the park. Fancy wrought iron gates and a great big garden, plus all kinds of outbuildings and places that could just be perfect for us. Greystones, I echo. Wow, that would be awesome. I gaze across the park, my eyes coming to rest on a distant rooftop with ornate chimneys and masses of ivy clinging to the brickwork. Little leaded windows tucked into the eaves look down over the park, and through a stand of tall trees, newly in leaf, I glimpse a balcony and the purple haze of a climbing wisteria. Everyone in Milford knows Greystones, but I've never met anyone who actually lives there before. The place is mysterious, romantic. Local legend says it's some kind of modern-day hippie commune, and it's also home to Milford's one and only sort of celeb, a mad lady artist whose paintings sell for a fortune and hang in prestigious galleries all around the world. And Mum had loved it, of course. The two of us would build up stories about the place, imagine what it might be like to live there. My breath catches a little at the memory, and when my vision blurs, I turn away, smiling harder. So tune in tomorrow and you will find out whether Lexie and the band have actually managed to find a place to practice and whether Greystones might actually save them all. I hope that all of you are coping okay with the lockdown thing. Week 3 now, and yeah, it's not easy, but tuning in for a little bit of an escape can help a lot, and losing yourself in a story. So take care, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.